Hello and welcome to episode 10 of War Down South, the fortnightly Warhammer podcast from the south coast of the UK. I am, as ever, your host, Mr. Callum Slater, and I'm joined by Mr. Ricky Robson.
Hey, hey, hey!
And we are also joined, as always, by Sam this week. This week we will be going through the GW news, which is primarily focused around the Warhammer Christmas boxes, the battle forces designed to save people money and be great Christmas gifts for other people and yourself. Some news that's popped up in the last couple of hours about the Death Guard Codex. We'll be giving updates on our own and the community's Project Moose Ride armies. And also we'll be answering some comments and questions from the community and sort of rambling on for a little bit. So, sit back, grab a stiff drink. Let's get going. Okay, well, thanks for joining us on another week. Still, Callum, Ricky, and Sam here. How are you guys doing this week?
Living the dream.
Opposite ends of the spectrum there, then.
Yeah, adult life has kicked me in the crackers and shit on my face for the last 2 weeks. I'm tired and I'm sore, but everything's good now.
That's all right then. Everything, all of the workmen gone then.
Yeah, well, yeah, for now I think, but everything is intact on the inside of the building. I don't have to give a shit anymore.
Fabulous. And you, Ricky, how you getting on?
Yeah, good, mate. Long days working, but working some early shifts this week and last, so managed to get a bit of hobby in, which is nice. What about you?
Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, busy with work, picking up new bits and pieces and just sort of cracking on with it. So
getting on with adulthood.
Yes,
cracking off.
Who would have thought, eh?
We
all grew up.
Yeah. Had a couple of days off last week to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Did you?
Yeah, I do it every year.
Do you?
Yeah,
okay.
But it's big with like our American football thing.
Okay.
We usually pick it off, go down to the pub because the pub's usually open till 5 a.m. on Thanksgiving to watch all the live games and stuff. But it wasn't this year, so it was just me sat on my own with a takeaway and a beer.
With a gravy boat and a large bird.
Staring lovingly at your framed picture of O.J. Simpson.
Well, exactly.
Offering him the white meat.
That man rushed for over 2,000 yards. Anyway.
Juice.
But yeah. So that was all right, but it meant just more work for me this week. So it was one of those, unfortunately. But yeah, not too bad.
Okay.
Hobby? You been up to some hobby then, Ricky? During your after your early shifts?
Yeah. I'm smashing through old Aqualon. Aqualon, it is Aqualon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Terminators. I'm enjoying doing these boys because they're very unlike the GW range. Obviously, these boys are forged. They're less cloaky, less flamboyance. They're quite back to
all
basic armor.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice to sit there and doing some nice shades and some tones on them. I've actually been doing something slightly different. I've been doing a bit of stippling on them rather than straight highlighting, which has been quite nice.
I stipple for a long time.
I prefer that with metallics. I think it looks better because it then sort of you get like a fade effect rather than it being like a harsh line for sure.
Exactly. So when I started applying the blues, I was highlighting like you would like generally normally highlight, and I went, this just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It almost you had two different aesthetics to a model. And I was just like, this feels awful. So I did them again. Well, I did their shoulder pads again, and I went to a stippled blue to create that shade, and it feels a lot nicer now. It smoothed the whole thing out to be in tone with each other, which was cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying these boys.
That's cool. Yourself, Sam, have you been able to do any hobby at all in the last couple of weeks? Or
literally nothing until today when the postie arrived with a box of Nurgle goodies. So I've been building things all afternoon. So I picked up a box of Blight Kings, a Plague Lord, and Gutrot Spume to form the basis of my possessed unit. For the Death Guard, because I got all excited when I saw that they're still in the book, because I've been wanting to buy these models to make that unit for ages, and I was like, yeah, are they even going to be in the Death Guard Codex? Even more so after so much got cut out of the Forge World Index. I was like, I'll wait and see with that one. And then the second I saw it, I bought them.
That makes sense. That's good.
Did a lot get removed from Forge World for them then, did it?
A lot of the dreadnoughts did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily removed, just Death Guard don't really have access to them at the moment. As Death Guard, you could take a Nurgle Chaos Space Marine detachment and have them, but then they don't have all the cool Death Guard stuff.
Yeah, there was a really weirdly written rule in the index where before Thousand Sons and Death Guard got their actual codexes previously, so you could just say that they were Thousand Sons and they would not break your faction keywords, but didn't gain any of your bonuses. It was really poorly thought out. So you could take all the cool dreadnoughts, but they didn't really get anything from it. So you were just having like a gun.
It sounds like the Forge World books through and through, though. Really poorly thought out and thrown together.
But now essentially that stuff is for Chaos Space Marines, not Death Guard and Thousand Sons and stuff. So
that's all right then. At least it's it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes and if when they release the Death Guard Codex, they decide to release a PDF update, like this is a Death Guard Leviathan Dreadnought, for example, that could be cool. But we'll see.
We'll see.
What about you?
I've actually been doing some painting this week. I spent last weekend putting together all of my bits to cast some resin bits and pieces for my Drakari bases arrived Friday, I think. Yeah, it's hard to tell because I had a 4-day weekend. Sometime in my days off, and I took them immediately out of the post box and then immediately started mixing some resin because I had the molds already, and really wasn't paying attention when I was mixing the first batch, which was about a good third of the quantity I'd ordered, and then was idly chatting away on my phone whilst mixing.
I was going to say, is this the picture you sent me with just oops?
Yeah, and then I looked down and then could hold the cup by the stick I was mixing it with, and it had already started to turn solid. So I wasted a good third of what I had ordered anyway.
Oh shit!
But that was quite funny. But yeah, I spent a couple of hours. Yeah, I was like,
I like
stuff.
it was
this
through
is going to be really cool. It's a block.
Look what I'm doing. This went wrong.
Yeah. Which is pretty much the message I sent to you. It was like, I'm mixing resin. I fucked it. But it literally took like a couple of hours to do 5 or 6 batches of the mold I'd already had, and then it was solid. And then I just spent the afternoon clipping it up and shaping it into pieces for bases. Built a bunch of witches. So I've got 15 of those built now. I've got a bunch of incubi built. Some characters.
I'm so impressed with your love for basing because it is the one bit of the hobby that I hate the most. I hate making bases.
Oh, I love it. It's I
just can't get excited about it. I managed it once when I got those Grey Knights off you, Callum, and I had to make more bases to match the ones that you had made. I had to make a whole extra batch because I went and got more Terminators and shit. So I was like, shit, I've got to make more 40mm bases to match these. That was fun, but I think that's because you'd put the thought in for me, so I just did what you did. I hate making bases with a passion. I just skimp on it, to be honest. It's
the first thing I do when I start a project is this is what I want my bases to look like, and then spend all the time building and painting those. And never finish the army.
And then never finish the army.
Hopefully this one.
So you've got an army of bases.
All right. And then I've actually started to paint one of the units of witches this week, playing around with some colours, so I'll put up some pictures of that. Not too bad. So I'm going to spend some more time this evening finishing up my test models, and then crack on if and when I'm happy with it.
Good man.
Which is quite cool. I heard the pouring of a drink, Ricky. I assume it's Ricky. What you got? We got.
It was me. Of course it was. I literally had to go. I ran almost to the
pushed
shop
over his wife because they didn't have any booze in the house.
Get
out of the way.
Literally, Captain Morgan.
Shoved her face down in the front garden.
Put my vest on.
Did a ridiculous run to the shop.
That's it. No, just Captain Morgan's and Coke again. Again, it's still on good monies at Tesco. So
not allowed back to the shop because you forgot trousers and pants.
And waddled.
But I got the rum.
Yeah, and then
what about you?
If there's no shirt, no shoes, and I've got both.
The rest. Yeah, all you need is a face mask, mate. No one said anything about other clothes.
You got yourself a nice tipple at all, Sam?
I got awkward,
no, just coffee to keep me going at the moment. It's been a long 2 weeks.
You're such a sad old man.
I drank it all.
What happened to that beer that you had? You could have saved it.
I think
it's for these moments. This is when we discuss.
It's a lot harder to stop once you've started, which is, I think, one of the problems that we all experience with this podcast.
Yep.
Yes.
Every time we record.
Yes.
You,
no, not Corona.
Yeah,
my dad got me
Corona.
a big crate of Perry's Somerset cider, which is a nice orchard down in the West Country, and these are some of their like fancy bespoke ones that they do. So I've got a couple of those. I've got
It's 3 degrees
it's
outside.
I've got a single orchard,
nice summery cider.
which is a nice fruity apple cider, and then I've got a single variety one.
Oh, look at little Fauntleroy with his fancy cider.
Yeah, they're really nice. I've only got a couple left, so they've done me quite well on the special occasions where I'm not just chugging cans of Thatchers or mixing a cocktail in my mouth straight from the bottles or whatever I'm doing. Yeah, not too bad. Cool. Right, so.
That reminds me of a rum tasting I did in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Just literally different flavoured rums being put into the mouth. Here's my mixer. Nom, nom, nom.
Cool. So, apparently this is a Warhammer podcast. So, at least the second half kind of sometimes is.
I didn't sign up for that. I'm out.
What is out this weekend? Big box toys. One of the best and most wonderful times of the year. That's right. Games Workshop Christmas Army boxes.
Not just big box toys.
It's the most
Not just big box toys. If you've been following any of the hobby groups on the interwebs, also tears. Tears of wah. I didn't get the toy I wanted. Because they all sold out very, very fast by the looks of things.
I mean, they always miss at least one race.
Yeah, I think there was
and then everybody cries
I think there was an independent stockist have got as far as I can tell from the reaction I've seen, they've had a limited amount that they could choose from. I
mock, but that's just because I'm not in the position of not getting the toys that I want.
Yeah, no, exactly. If I get the toys I want, I don't really care about anybody else. So I think that's the main point of consternation, is that not every stockist had access to them all. But I mean, if it's people moaning because their stockist that they get at a discount isn't selling them, then I don't really care. Because you save like 60, 70 quid on each of them anyway. So there's a bunch of them. We've got for Age of Sigmar, because we'll go.
The Age of Sigmar ones look very good.
Yeah, these. So going alphabetically, we'll start with Age of Sigmar. I think the best one right off the bat is the Zinch one. Well,
bloody Zangos.
No, it's not.
The fact that it's got like a 90 quid Lord of Change in it for 125 quid is amazing. I think just in general, I need a Lord of Change, at least one Lord of Change for my AOS army, and I was just like,
all right, fair enough.
I've got enough Zangors and Enlightened.
I mean, value for money. It's pretty good, that one.
Yeah, I mean they all are, but 90 quid is massive though, mate.
It's huge.
Is the Lord of Change really
Huge.
90 quid now?
Yeah,
Huge.
I know he's massive.
Yeah.
Tiny
but
hand.
Obviously, I've never needed
massive.
to buy one.
So that one's really cool. That's my favourite AOS
Wow,
one.
90
But
quid,
I'm
fair
pretty sure I know which one you like the most. You, Ricky. You're
Who are
you,
you talking to?
and he's him.
But
I assume it's the War Tribes one,
right.
isn't it? Yeah, which is incredible. Yeah, that's. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, that's a good box.
I think it's about 1,400 points worth of an ogre army. Yeah,
so it's a lot of ogre in one box.
It's incredible value, and
the thing is, if I got that, I'd end up with about 6,000 points of ogres. It's because do you remember the Everwinter box, the big one that is for Beastclaw Raiders? That was like £100. I bought 2 of them when I started my army, and then I bought like
that start collecting box is so good.
start collecting boxes. Exactly, yeah, because I needed all those Mornfang riders to give me 18.
I don't miss that army.
I miss that army so much. It's behind me right now. I love it, but
no,
I just.
Well, I mean, you can.
I don't know if
now
I can.
You can
I
take
just
all
try
of these things in the same army, whereas they were 2 separate factions. But that's really cool. Yeah, that gives you the cool ogre tyrant.
Better than they used to be.
Teams of what they used to be called ogre bulls, but I can't remember what they're called now. Gluttons.
I do want that.
Gluttons. Yeah, a unit of lead belchers, a unit of iron guts.
Yeah.
But the lead belchers are still terrible, are
which
they?
are still shit. God, they're awful.
Yeah, but they're cannons full of bits and pieces.
For God's sake.
Yeah, they're full of forks and spoons. And
they're not iron cannon balls.
But the ogre's better smacking someone with it than he
also comes with a giant.
With it.
Yeah,
that makes
a giant and a scrap launcher.
I suppose it does actually. They're ogres.
Yeah, an awesome kit. Like if you manage to pick up like 2 of these, and then you just need like a wizard or a couple of their other characters, and you are set for sure. What other AOS ones are there?
Yeah.
The Gloom Spite one, which has all the best Gloom Spite stuff in it.
Yeah, that's really. Yeah,
lots of squigs, lots of trolls, and a big dank old troll as well.
Mostly squigs, isn't it?
Yeah, 15 squig hoppers.
Yeah,
one of the characters on squigs, one of the big trolls, and then 2 units of dank old Drogoths, which is quite cool. Again, like I imagine that there's some battalions and stuff within the Gloom Spite book that you can build essentially just using that box a couple of times over, which is really cool.
Pretty sure there is.
And then there's the
Caradon Overlords.
Caradons, yeah, which doesn't look like it saves you. Like just visually looking at it, you go, why does this save me money when it's?
I think it's
models?
The smallest one.
It is 10
models. 13 models. No,
it's 10. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
10 models.
Is that all it is?
So it's got the engineering dirigible suit. I think that's him, or is that the character? I don't know. One of the 2.
I'm a little out of touch. The boats weren't that good previously, were they? They were okay.
Yes, yeah. I think I've not. I have to admit, I'm massively behind on what's good in AOS. But the gun haulers, the little boats, are now.
I've heard good things about them.
Are now very cheap and not restricted by being artillery. So they're just like they're just a non-unit choice. So you can just take as many of them as you've got points for. So they're really quick, really shooty, and then I think you can build some battalions and stuff around, like 1 or 2 of the larger boats, loads of the flying guys, and then you just jump out with your minimal troops and brap stuff.
Floaty drive by.
Yeah, which is really cool. So yeah, that's the so we've got 4 for AOS, and then I think 6 for 40k. So Tyranid one, yep.
There's a Nid
They
one.
always seem to
That was
include
surprising.
gargoyles. The Tyranid ones. I'm not sure why. But it's like, is it 16
Of course
Gene
they do.
Stealers?
They need to sell
Maybe
them
20? 16. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's a big mix of cool
At least
models.
it's some
Like there's
good
a box of Gene Stealers, a box of Gargoyles, and then the cool stuff, which is a box of the Tyrant Guard, a Tyrant, and a Horospex. So two of the big monster kits, and the Horospex can be built as an Exocrine as well, I think, which is a prudent choice for Nids at the moment, I think.
Yeah. I love the look of Nids, but I just don't.
And when I do see them
anymore.
there's definitely not gargoyles.
I don't remember the last time I saw.
I think they are just one of the armies that's really like almost lost its identity over the last edition. It became essentially like being able to double move, double advance, and charge a unit of Gene Stealers, and just firing that across the board every turn. That's pretty much what the army became, and then like some Tyrant Guard hiding out a line, some Hive Guard hiding out a line of sight, shooting stuff. Which is a bit of a shame, but so hopefully with the new Rafter Codexes coming in, and if they get like such a change like the Necrons have got, they'll be.
It's been so long since I've seen Nids. Looking at the box on the website now, I couldn't even tell you what that weird butt plug cannon the Hive Guard have is. Like I don't know what these are anymore.
It's got it. The one in the middle has the Impaler cannon, which is the 2-strength 8 AP2 ignore line of sight shots, and the ones that the other two have got, you don't need to know because they're not that one. I think it's got like
they're not going to be doing any
effect, but it's not as good as ignoring the line of sight. Strength 8 AP2 2 shots D3 damage, so it's not that. So.
Yeah.
No, they can all have that.
And I'm assuming it's only like the.
That's why it doesn't matter what the other guns are.
Oh, they can have all that. Oh, right. I understand now.
No, they can all have that.
It's almost like you said it was like a delivery.
And I guess they generally do then.
Yeah. So that's cool. There's a Necron one, the Eradication Legion. Again, like kind of, well, it's hard to say if it's on the small size because it's still a lot of good stuff for like 120 odd quid.
I mean, I was surprised that they did a Necron one because you've just launched Indomitus, plus they've got all the newer start collecting style boxes for them.
I guess it's a way to sort of push, not push, but to include some of the older models because they're primarily the older models in there. So it's a unit of the new Warriors and Scarabs.
Immortals.
Yeah, a box of Immortals.
Are those Praetorians?
A box of Immortals / Death Marks, a box of Praetorians / Lich Guard, the Triarch Stalker, one of the planes, a Tomb Spider, and the Technomancer. Right. I think that's what that one is.
The one surfing on the little spider.
Yeah, it is the Technomancer. Boom, got it right. Awesome. So that's really cool. The cool thing about Necrons, as
bitches.
Chatting with some of our buddies over the last couple of weeks, is that there's just so many builds in that box. In that book. So a box like this just gives you a little bit of everything, like these boxes should do. Really, that you can just sort of go. Like the planes can be good, the Triarch Stalker can be good, Praetorians are very good, especially if you're running the Silent King. And you're always going to want Warriors and Immortals. So, pretty cool stuff there. Yes, there is a Space Marine one.
I'm assuming there's a Space Marine one.
You say that. I think this is boring. Is an interesting because they've gone for like a load of the weird Space Marine stuff.
It's all Phobos stuff by the looks of it.
Yeah,
I've not got it in front of me, so I'm just very speculation out there.
So there's the Phobos. So it's the Phobos Captain, a box of Reavers, a box of
Infiltrators
/ Incursors, an Invicta Warsuit, and then randomly there's a
Incursors.
I can't remember what it's
Who
bloody
uses
called.
them?
The tank. An Impulsor. Like there's randomly an Impulsor in there, which none of those units will really ever go in an Impulsor.
The transport.
But like most Space Marine Army lists that I'm writing at the moment have Impulsors and Infiltrators and Invicta Warsuits. So like it was really hard not to not to buy one of these.
Of course you do.
No, better than that.
You're obviously making a Black Templar of it.
But yeah, that's really cool. That's a like I feel like that's a good core for a Marine army, or to bolt on to an existing Marine collection. Like if you've primarily got, if you've got like an army built out of the Indomitus stuff so far, for example, and then you bolt this on, you can completely change the way your Space Marine army is playing, which is really cool. And it's some of the best models in their range, I think, in that kit as well. Yeah, I like
the look of stuff is the best.
I like all of the little bits and pieces the infiltrators have. So they've got like the antennas and the like funky war gear and stuff.
I like all that.
Pouches.
I still quite like the Reavers. Not so keen on wacky grappling hook guy, but
yeah. Yeah,
but again, you're talking Phobos arms. It's understandable.
That's really cool.
Like them.
And then there's like what I assume has been the same guard one every time they release it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I think it is marginally different. It is a Hydra instead of a Lehman Russ. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
Not to mock it, because all of that stuff is good. Like, because the Hydra can be built as a. The Hydra can be built as a no.
Is it
the water one? The Wyvern. So that can be built as a Wyvern. That doesn't exist anymore, Ricky.
Yeah, it's dead.
It hasn't existed for quite some time.
Griffin?
It moved to Forge World, and then they took it out to a nice farm and hit it on the back of the head with a spade.
Yeah, they haven't had a Griffin in quite a while, mate.
Am I really that out of touch with Guard?
I mean,
oh man!
Like, I just thought I don't think they've existed since like 5th edition.
No one ever took them, but I didn't realise they didn't exist.
and even then, I'm not sure they existed.
Oh
yeah, quite a while.
Is this a you weren't sure that they were around still, or is this a Chinese casino situation? Did you hallucinate the heavy Griffin mortar?
No, I was. No. I generally didn't realise that they weren't around anymore.
Again, a good call for a guard army. Like,
showing some age.
Chimeras are good. You're going to need command squads and infantry commanders and infantry. Sentinels are good. Like, it's a good all-round box. Like, nobody should immediately assume you can build a competitive army out of these boxes straight away. That's not really what they're for. They're to light up little Jimmy's face on Christmas Day when he gets his box, not for
and then his dad steals it.
Yeah, not for grumpy neckbeards to order and complain about on the 5th of December and open. So there's a and then there's a Tau one, which again feels like exactly the same one they push out every year, but this one doesn't have. There's no
ethereal in it.
There's no ethereal in it, and there's no ghost keel in it. But there is a commander and a piranha.
Oh, yeah, but pour one out for the Christmas box ethereal. Oh, that guy's been a staple for a long time.
I've got so many of those plastic ethereals. It's like I will open random drawers, literally in my stacks of hobby drawers, and there'll just be ethereals in there.
Love me, no.
That's like me in the Death Jester plastic model.
Well, it was when they first released the Start Collecting sets, and the Start Collecting set was £50 for 3 battle suits, an ethereal, and a box of Fire Warriors. Yeah, and that was £50, and then a box of the 3 new battle suits was £48.
Yeah.
So obviously, instead, I have not bought a single box of battle suits over the last two Tau armies I've done. I've just repeatedly bought lots and lots of that. Yeah. So
over the last 2 Tau armies you've done.
They're still well.
Phase expansion
that's
will
the only
happen.
2 you've ever done.
They're still behind the amount of Drakari armies I've had. Yeah. Oh yeah. This.
Are they?
I've done so. Okay, let's roll through them now.
You've done.
I did the
so
one for
many
last year. I
Tau
did the orange ones for Lords of War, the orange and grey ones.
Oh, I liked those ones.
Yeah, I've still got them. There's the desert ones, which I've still got some of. I've got all
I hate
the
those
old-
ones.
You've got your desert ones.
Yeah, they were the blue and gold ones. I then had
Your blue and gold ones, your Ackery gold
a
ones.
small Tau army at the start of 5th edition that I was working on before they got their good 5th edition book. And then I had a Tau army back in the day when I was 14, 15, I think. But yeah, whereas Drakari, I've had many more than that because I keep coming back to them. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every Eldar player does once they.
I think this is quite a good set.
They
getting
never
back on
leave
track.
them. They always come back.
You need Fire Warriors. You need Pathfinders. Broadsides are good. Battlesuits are a thing.
Being behind on what goes on with Tau, what is that massive spazzy dustbin with a gun glued to the front of it?
That's the recon drone for the Pathfinders. So it's got a burst cannon, and it can sit in the top of a devilfish in the hatch, which is really cool. Yeah.
That was probably one of the best upgrade kits I think I saw in a long time.
So you get another dustbin lid.
When they added that in.
You get another dustbin lid in the box that then sits on the top of the devilfish because it goes where the commander sits.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's where it lives because it doesn't take up a transport capacity.
Beep boop.
Yeah. So that's quite cool. I think that's the one with the most amount of models in it, which is quite cool. Is that all of them? Oh, no, the Chaos one.
The Chaos one. That looks pretty neat.
Right.
Yeah. Chaos Space Marines apparently still exist in the universe.
The who?
Yeah. But again, quite a good set. It's got the cool Blackstone Fortress Chaos Lord. He's rad.
All the new beefy guys.
Yeah, it's got the 10 new Chaos Marines, which are nice. A box of Havocs, a box of Terminators, and a Forge / Hellfiend. They're all new generation.
Other than the Forge,
mostly they're redone.
Yeah. Not a plastic cultist in sight, like every other Chaos box.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say. Usually they end up pushing that kind.
But a nice looking
the
box
extra
for nice
cultists
looking
in
models.
there, or the older models. But no, that's cool.
That's all we can really ask for. So really cool. They've all. I think they've all sold out online on GW's site anyway, apart from the Gloom Spite one and the Kadarin one. I think they're more niche anyway. Compared to all the others. Oh yeah, they'll definitely go because people will be like, "Well, I can buy 180 quid worth of models for 120 £. I'm going to buy it." So I'm just hoping they show up as sold out sometime soon because otherwise I'm going to buy them. But that's really cool. So other Games Workshop news, I think, has saddened the sort of stinkiest players among us. Literally a couple of hours ago, obviously through no fault of GW's, I think they're still having problems with production and also imports, and the Death Guard Codex has been delayed. Unfortunately, I think in the article they noted it's the Codex and the terrain piece, which would allude to difficulties in getting it shipped over from China. I think because it's exactly the same thing that happened with the Sylvaneth book last year. or was that earlier this year? I don't know.
I think it was last year.
Time doesn't mean anything anymore. But the Sylvaneth book and then the new like terrain was delayed because that stuff gets made in China, so it's a big shame.
Yeah. When I saw it initially, I was like, oh, because I was all excited for the book. But then I realised, it gives me a bit more hobby time over my Christmas break from work rather than just sitting there constantly scribbling lists over and over and over and over.
And the important thing to note is that they didn't mention that anything else was going to be pushed back. So hopefully the Drakari book is not pushed back, because that's the only thing that's getting me through these cold winter nights is the thought about that coming. But there are a few
that and the inflatable Antonio Banderas doll.
How did you know? Anyway, but some interesting tidbits in the article. They have released Mortarian's datasheet as a little teaser for people. No real changes to the big guy. So he hasn't been given any sort of maximum wounds per turn, per phase thing, which a lot of people were expecting. I thought it was a possibility, but with models that large,
like we originally
that
thought,
have a good invulnerable save and that many wounds. Yeah, he's got a 4+ invulnerable save. Now we don't know what disgustingly resilient does.
He's got a 4+.
It may be reduced, or the warlord traits. Yeah, so we're not sure. We're not sure what disgustingly resilient does across the army yet. It has been bounded about that it is possibly a. Yeah. I heard rumors months ago that it was -1 to wound, which is not. It's not going to be that because that's mad.
I've seen other people suggesting that and then getting shouted at. A lot.
But I think it's most likely to be like -1 damage and a 6+ feel no pain, which would be really interesting. Because,
that'd be pretty cool.
Because obviously the Marines going up by an extra wound would mean that the damage to weapons that you're seeing all across the game at 40k at the moment are now half as effective against Death Guard, which is quite cool. But yes, so Mortarian's got that. He's pretty cool. So if he's your warlord, he gets a warlord trait, and then because he's big Death Guard daddy, he gets a second warlord trait, which you get to choose. And if he's not your warlord, he just gets to pick a warlord trait, which is a really interesting way to do it instead of just boxing him in with one that he has to have, which I'm hoping then carries over for like when they redo the Ultramarine supplement, for example, in Guilliman. So he'll have a warlord trait, and then if he's the warlord, he can get a second one, and the same for Magnus. I think those big level characters, that could be quite cool. But there was a note to the Contagions of Nurgle army special rule, which seems to be like a different effect every battle round. So on his datasheet, I think it says that he always counts as it being at least the 4th battle round, which would insinuate that it's either like a more defensive buff or he does mortal wounds all the time to people or something like that. So it seems to be like a ticking clock in the Nurgle army, which is quite cool. Similar to how like the Necrons go through the protocols each battle round, and Marines go through the different doctrines, which could be quite cool and interesting. I'm liking all of these
the doctrines,
all of these additional mechanics they're bringing into the codexes. So you've got your army special rule, you've got your like sub-faction specific special rules of your different chapters and your different plague companies, etc. And then on top of that, you're getting like these other army-wide rules that play almost outside of the game. I can imagine more and more will get them because I mean,
can you see it
Space Marines have got
codexes,
the combat doctrines. Necrons have got the command protocols. Death Guard have got the Contagions of Nurgle.
Yeah.
So I can imagine most armies, whether or not that will be a it works in the same way, i.e., you go through a different one every battle round, or like the Yes, yeah, because the Necron ones, you at the start of the game, you choose what order they go in, and then they have to be active that battle round. So they're a bit more flexible with it, but their bonuses aren't great. So does that work?
Oh, right.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So as the Marines have got a better bonus, but less flexible.
So that'll
whereas
be
Necrons
really
have got a
interesting
bit
to see
more
how
flexibility, but
that
less
progresses.
Marine-like.
Obviously, you don't. Yes, and they. Well,
Definitely, considering like obviously Dark Elder are next.
Yeah, well,
that'll be
they've currently
interesting
got
with
something
like
that works like that,
Like,
which is
I'm
power from
assuming it'll be
pain, which is
around
a
your
cumulative
drugs
benefit
more than anything.
every battle round. But when
Power
you look
from
at some of
pain.
the benefits that some people get for their stuff like that, and then you look at the Drakari one, it's like, hopefully these get better, because you get a 6-up feel no pain for your infantry. You can reroll charges, which all of the good stuff in the Drakari army does anyway. +1 a hit in combat, which Incubi don't need anymore because they're hitting on 2s. Like automatically passing morale tests, and then -1 leadership to enemy units within 6, or something like that. So, but yeah, I'm hoping it's something that they do.
Don't diss that -1 leadership.
Not necessarily working, but like just pouring more flavor into the codexes to make each one of those armies operate differently. Can only be a good thing. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see how that works. It's really cool. You don't seem too fussed about it getting knocked back, Sam.
No. You know, it's still something to look forward to. I've got plenty of Death Guard to paint, so that will tide me over.
You're not going to be let out of the house soon enough anyway to play any games. So,
well, exactly.
So that's cool. Okay, sweet. Anything else to add before we sort of move on to the next bit, guys? Any GW news? Oh, the only other thing that I would say is that GW put out a little like Christmassy video with the with Bugman, which is really funny to watch. The new AOS Bugman, him going out and giving like shiny new weapons to Stormcast and stuff on his big magic floating boat with loads of Christmas lights on it. It's quite cute. Cool. Right. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have give us some updates on our Project Moose Ride armies and what the community's been working on. And then a bit later, we're going to be just answering some more questions because we have quite a lot this week. Join us in a minute. Okay, welcome back. Still Callum, Ricky, and Sam here. We're just going to give you some updates on our new 9th edition army projects. Kind of touched on them a little bit earlier in the episode, but we'll sort of just flesh that out a little bit and then give people some updates on what you guys out there are working on, because people have actually jumped on board and are doing it.
Yay! Moose Ride.
Moose Ride. And it's kind of weird that we've asked people to do stuff and they've done it. So
I think it was Tom Cruise.
My cult is underway. So drink the Kool-Aid. No,
definitely Tom Cruise.
Yes. If you're not quite sure what Ricky's referring to, on our social media channels, we did put out. I'm pretty sure that picture's not edited at all. But Tom Cruise from The Last Samurai riding a moose.
It's been a long time since I've seen that film, and I'm almost certain there was a moose in it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not the most historically accurate thing. So
the moose being native to feudal Japan.
But yes, who would like to go first? I know you were talking about some of the different techniques and stuff you've been working on your custos recently, Ricky. So once your Aquilon Terminators are underway, what are you going to be working on next?
Yeah, cool. So when I based my Aquilons with their brass, which is where I start the base color from, I actually did my Custodian Guard with sword and boards at the same time, and I was going to do 2 units at the same time, and I chose to go against it, just to just to spend a little bit more time focusing on each model rather than just bulk batch everything, go through the whole process, and then the army looks like it's basically done. I wanted to focus a bit more, so they will probably be next because I've already got their base color down. And then from there, I will probably go towards my banner bearer or my land raider.
Ooh, that'd be a nice change.
Yeah, so I think it might be the land raider more because
box.
Yeah, it's a big old box, and I think it'll be quite a nice challenge to get that transition of brass, gold, and silver shading on it quite nicely. I think it'll be quite good. I intend to do a bit of freehand on it as well because custodian stuff is a bit flamboyant from the miniature point of view, but the Land Raider isn't.
Yeah, you need to fancy that motherfucker up.
Yeah, you need a big powder wig and to through the shit out of that.
That's it. But sadly, there's like nothing you can do to convert them really, apart from gluing custodian plastics to it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it looks like I've glued banners to it, and it doesn't feel right. So I'm going to try and go down the route that Forge will do with their transfers and that swirly gold pattern and stuff that they put on things. That's probably where I'll go with that. So after the Aqualongs, it'll probably be the Sword and Board boys because I'm really excited to do those shields.
They're beautifully detailed, aren't they?
Yeah, and then I'll probably go towards the Land Raider, which would be nice. Which only leaves 3 units after that.
Boo! That's all right. When you're done, you can help me finish my moose ride.
Yeah,
we can go tandem on the moose.
That's obviously considering that I don't change the army list again.
Oh yeah, I mean, sort of the idea is that these armies then like evolve. Expand and grow as when we're eventually allowed to start.
Clearly needs more dropship
playing.
Then yes, you need a big floaty boat.
Well, that's it. It went up in points, and it went. So if we're looking at the Ares, for example, which was apparently the mainstay of the competitive custodian army, I don't know whether it's still up there. I haven't played any games, and there's no games going on. Whether it's evident or not, but it's not as powerful as it was, and it's a lot more expensive.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything.
Exactly. But the Aqualongs they've gone massively down in points. And they've leveled off in their power, so there's no more randomness. You've got no more D3 damage here, D3 damage there. They're all like settled at like 3s and 2s. So they've been a definite include now, I think. But we'll see. I mean, the Land Raider is definitely better than it used to be with multiple damage heavy rollers.
Yes, that hit on 2s. Great,
exactly.
And there's no penalty for moving and shooting it. Great.
Yeah, so it's a nice big fat. It's toughness 8, 2+ save, hitting on 2s, deterrent if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Rad. So you said you were working on some bits and pieces, Sam. So what are those Blight Kings and stuff actually going to be working towards?
They're going to be going towards my unit of possessed for my Death Guard army. I've decided I definitely want some after the teaser article. Said that they're finally going to have some gel with the army book that they're in. So toughness 5, multiple wounds, and they count as having plague weapons finally, which was one of the big drawbacks for an Nurgle assault unit not having.
What do plague weapons do?
I'm a little out
of touch of Death Guard.
Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Currently,
what did they do then?
Currently, it's reroll 1s to wound.
Okay, that's still.
Actually, it might be on the Mortarian datasheet. Let me just have a quick look. Fill the dead air.
But building those at the moment. As I drag the hobby supplies back out of the nooks and crannies that they've been shoved into to allow workmen into my home, I've got to finish painting the demon prints I'm working on first. But these models are so beautiful, they're definitely going to jump the queue. I was going to paint my bloat drones next to go with my blight drone, but Q
You
jumpers
say
inbound.
bloat drones.
Yeah. The Buzzy Wuzzy.
So you've got blight drones and bloat drones.
Yeah, there's the Greater Blight drone, which is
I can't keep up with all
nice
this.
and cheap.
One. Yeah.
The Forge World one. I'm hoping I've seen the leaked stat line for the bloat drones, and they look pretty good now. They don't degrade. The Plague Spitter option has gone up to 12 inches, like with lots of the new flame type weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The heavy blight launcher thing, which used to be a bit of a joke weapon option for that unit, now is a lot better. Not too sure about the flesh mower variant. I think I've only got one of those anyway. But
I quite liked that under the current code because it just gave you a bucket load of high strength.
It's a
high
bucket
AP.
load of attacks.
The rules for plague weapons are apparently on page 62. So we don't know what they do.
Oh, that's good. So. Have we got a leak of page 62?
If there is one, I've not found it yet.
Warhammer community.
And I've been looking.
Let's publish page 62.
But looking forward to it. I'll get my demon prince finished, as I really enjoyed converting that, and he's over halfway done paint wise.
Do you have a list? Have you put a base list down?
Constantly changing it at the moment. I just don't know.
You're literally in the same boat as pretty much all of us.
No
games.
And it doesn't really matter.
Nothing going on.
because they're getting a new book.
I know all the things I want, but I just don't know in what combination I can have them.
Yeah.
I'm
whether or not that will
work. Waiting for the book. So I'm just going to build and paint all the cool things that I could possibly want in the army, and then fashion a list when I finally get my hands on that book.
Awesome. Sounds good.
What about you, Squire? Witches. There's something different.
Yeah, so I haven't...
Yeah, you've not had a unit of them for a long time.
No, yeah. As sort of, I think we discussed it on the last podcast, I've probably not actually used them in about 10 years. And even when I would have used those 10 years ago, they wouldn't have been painted. So, I've painted parts of witch kits because they're great for converting like cyberites and bits and pieces on warriors and venoms and stuff, but not.
They got more dynamic pose than a cavalry.
Yes. So it turns out I've got a ton of witches that I've just never put together. So I think I've built some cavalites, but I'm going to use some of the like witch legs on cavalites. So it looks like they're like running and shooting and stuff.
Does the armor suit? I can't say I've looked at them together.
So they've got a lot less leg armor, but the rest of the bodies are pretty much interchangeable.
And it doesn't look out of place.
I've not mocked any up yet, but I can't imagine it does. Like most of the warriors,
I can't imagine.
Most of the warriors don't have a lot of leg armor anyway. It's mainly just like thigh and knee armor, and then the occasional bit on the shin. But it doesn't really matter because they've got a 5-up save. So, I did have a thought like just before we started that I was gonna use like scourge legs on all my warriors.
All right.
Just to.
So they're all like prancy.
To sort of give that sort of like they're all jumping off their boats. But
jumping down from their boats.
Yeah, but I sort of discussed it with a couple of people, and I was like, actually, that might be a bit naff. It might just look like they're flying and they've not got wings. So,
I mean, it will look good from a photograph.
Yeah.
But on the tabletop,
it might look a little bit off.
It'll be look like they're pirouetting a little bit too much,
and a lot more difficult to hide. So I've got a bunch of witches to paint, a bunch of cavalites to paint. I've got some incubi to paint, which I'm very excited about because those models are outstanding. I've still got another box of incubi to build. I've still got Drazar to build. But as I've got a Tantalus, I now, obviously the Codex isn't out till early next year, but it's got a transport capacity of 16.
Fill it up.
So I can't get the idea of 3 units of 5 incubi and Drazar out of my mind. Because currently in under Flayed Skull, it can move like 20 inches or like 19 inches. Shoot all of its like high-powered disintegrators and stuff, charge with its bunch of Strength 7, AP2, multiple damage attacks, then still be fairly resilient coming out the other side, because it's massive. And then just the next turn, just loads of Incubi and Drazar jump out. And then you can retreat and shoot it using like a stratagem. But that's obviously under the current codex, so I'm hesitant to sort of lean heavily that way. But the Incubi kit is an absolute like dream to put together. Like the mold lines are minimal and they're like sort of hidden as well. So that makes cleaning them up super easy. The kits go together really well. There's loads of extra like nice little bits and pieces in there. So I'll definitely be putting more of those together because I can see myself using loads of them in my armies going forward.
Good man.
Yeah, I want to convert up some characters as well because I keep looking at my Archon built out of the Viz Arc and being like, you look like everybody else's Archon. So the new Warcry Warband, I think, goes on pre-order this week, or it's out this week. The Dark Elf one, and there's just a bunch of nice poses in there. So I might make some Archons and like witch characters and unit leaders out of that.
That'd be sweet.
Just for some nice like dynamic characters that look different to how everybody else converts their Archons, because the plastic Archon model is gash. Unfortunately, he's in just the most bizarre pose.
Don't fancy going back in time and having Lord Stretchy Face back again?
No, I don't. Yeah, no, it's better than that. It's better than I'm trying to be a baden, which is what that model did look like. Yeah, like the metal one that came out in 5th edition was an amazing model because he had a couple of different weapon options, a couple of different hats, and looked like just a blendery Archon. The one at the moment has his arms crossed weirdly across his chest. He stood on a rock at an angle, so he's actually like on his tiptoes, leaning backwards, like a vampire sleeping in its coffin, and it makes me sad. It's got a nice skin cape though.
He's like a nice skin cape.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to building some characters, and then just sort of. I've not built any of my Venoms that I've bought yet, so I'll put those together. Finish putting the Tantalus together with all of the bits that I've got, and then sort of just jiggle with excitement until the Codex comes, really, before I commit to anything. I've got some Scourges coming on the way as well, because Scourges are great.
Have you?
Well, hopefully. So that'll be really cool. So all Drakari all the time for me. I'm just so excited about having this Codex and like playing with them again. It hurts. I'm that excited, which is cool. Good. So, everybody else, what have you been working on? Stan, pull it up. What have people been working on?
I was about to say, are we waiting for an answer from other people?
Yeah, we didn't discuss this beforehand, but that was your cue, Sam.
My cue?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't know where that is.
You know how Facebook works.
I've got the Q&A up. Bear with me.
Hold on. I'm on it.
Definitely something that we should have discussed beforehand.
We did discuss it. I didn't know you were going to drop it.
We didn't assign roles.
I do what I want. I say stuff.
Right, here we
guys.
Here we are. Okay, so we've got Mark, Mr. Mark Pearson, who's jumped on our Project Moose Ride, which is wicked, and it looks like he has jumped on the Necron train, and he's just. I think it might be a mock-up of one of his warriors, which is pretty nice. You can follow these on our Facebook page if anybody's wondering.
Oh, that's a nice mix of that sort of like dark space wolfy grey,
orange,
and then the orange. Yeah, that works really well.
I like that. It's really
that
nice.
Overlord model is just so good, isn't it?
No matter, yeah.
Just a big pissed off robot.
Just that weapon is just I love it.
Oh, and he's put a picture of like all of the bits and pieces he's been building as well.
Oh, the whole army. Here we go. Yeah. Also, he's got some Lish Guard. What else we got?
Those are
Warriors.
Scorpex. Nom nom nom.
Oh, are they? Sorry, beg your pardon. I don't know the difference. They're Necrons. Do Necron Warriors have like an upgrade to a specific model in the unit?
No, they've got two different weapon options though.
Okay, so what? Can you mix and match?
So there's the so the one the big block on the left, I think, have the Reapers, which are the shorter range but high strength, high AP.
Okay, and then you got your longer range.
Yeah, are the little AP. Dustbin Gip Claw guys in the middle?
Those are, I'm going to say, like Cryptothralls. They're something like that, they're
special needs Necrons.
They're for God's sake, they're like little units of two that hang around Cryptex.
Okay,
and then get like really stabby when they're near Cryptex, but they're good little units for running, just outflanking and sitting in people's table quarters and stuff.
And they ride the short model if they battle, according to Rick. Okay,
apparently. Well, they're quite chunky.
I like in the far corner.
Yes,
you've got a lot of change.
That's
It's like, oh, Mark's
and staring at Mark accusingly.
And I don't know what that is. There seems to be like, I don't know if it's a horse or something next to the horrors. You can see a base and then like a backwards leg.
My lovely horse.
Is that how horses work? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've not seen a horse in so long.
I like how we're like, this is what Mark's
but yes, Mark is fully. I mean, he's got his own moose really at this point. That's really cool.
That could be a 28mm moose
molding,
and a bunch of the Locust heavy destroyers as well, which are big, beautiful, chunky models, which is great.
They're beautiful models.
Fabulous. Well done, Mark. We're looking forward to seeing more of that. Who's next?
If we go down, what have we got? Mr. Slow is an understatement. The man himself, Mr. Peter Spratt, who has built.
He's built some Space Marines.
Looks like he's built the Indomitus box.
That is an Indomitus box plus some intercessors, I think. Yeah, there's normal bolter intercessors
plus some more eradicators in there. Is that?
Yeah, that's a unit of 5, for sure.
So in between everything, you got between the Quality Street and that little white box. Can we work out what he's got on TV?
Oh,
if I turn my head upside down,
what we got?
I'm not sure.
I would assume it's some American football.
Do you reckon with very blue glow?
Whoever it is, they look like a bit of a nonce.
Straight up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but I do know that so that is Pete working on his like table in his living room.
I can see a sneaky plasma inceptor off to the side.
Yeah. Yes.
There's also a box.
Well, yeah, that means that Pete has finished work. He's put the kids to bed. His missus has gone to bed. So this is probably taken at like 3:00 in the morning. Him working on something. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Do you reckon?
So I like the
beer has been cracked open. He is kicking back and relaxing.
He was also probably covered in dogs at the moment at that
time. Yeah. It was probably a little chilly because it's 3 degrees outside.
Yeah,
and they fancy.
I like the use of the Grey Knight Terminator head on the Indomitus captain.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's models.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry,
that really fits. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's pretty weak.
Pete was saying he wasn't a fan of like any of the heads that came with him and wanted that sort of knightly crusader look for him. So that's quite cool. No paint on them, but Pete does paint slow, as is his Instagram handle. So. But it's good to see that he's had some time to at least put those guys together, and some Space Marines are well on the way to bolter our Moose Ride out of existence, which is cool. What we got next?
Mr. Still in his box, Mr. Robert. Mr. Robert / Jack.
Yes. So another guy from our local Haven Club, and avid listener and lovely bloke. He has the typically plays with Raven Guard, the guy that I played at Confrontation. So good player, good armies. Armies always look nice on the table as well. So
Is this the guy that touched you inappropriately with Invicta Warsuits?
Yes. May have damaged me enough so much that I love them in like a weird sort of trauma way.
Sorry, what happened? I thought we were supposed to keep
confrontation.
Social distancing.
They
There was no exception.
No, they won't.
Confrontation.
No,
there was
they
probably more
me.
reason
They
to
just
keep social
beat up my
distance.
knights.
They were just up him.
Yeah, it wasn't he
right,
wasn't
that's
fiddling
what
me
I'm
with
talking about,
toys in the middle of a gaming hall, Ricky.
Which, pre-COVID was a regular occurrence.
Would have happened.
I don't have.
That's why I'm saying
this is it.
I've got a build up. But he has been super sensible and jumped on the Drakari wagon.
You can be army buddies
with
a refreshers bar
yes.
and a space
sour apple refreshers
yeah,
bar.
that's a man of fine taste. And I believe this was last year's Drakari Christmas box. Because I know our good friend Paul bought like 3 or 4 of them. Because again, super good value because you're going to use multiples of everything that's in there, apart from that shitty Archon.
You're hurting his feelings, man.
I don't give a fuck. But that's really cool. I've had
face pirate noises.
Quite a few messages. Just going back and forth talking about Drakari on our club Discord with Rob about those. So really excited to get those down as well. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Nice to see the box open.
I know. I could almost like picture exactly what all of the sprues look like, in like sort of a weird or autistically, I know where all of the parts are because I've built so many bloody Drakari things over the last lifetime. But that's really cool. So not on that Facebook thread, but someone has been absolutely demolishing the Moose Ride to the point where they're going to be finished probably by the end of this year, and that is the lovely Mr. Ben Counter and his Ultramarines.
They're so pretty.
I will either be like awake like at late at night of the weekend, or I'll just wake up in the morning and Ben will be like, "I've painted another tank," or "I've painted these 11 Terminators." It's like, oh my Christ! Not only are they beautiful, but it's all of the awesome models as well. It's ridiculous.
It makes you cry, doesn't it?
It's ridiculous. From my conversations with Ben, he's working on sort of like a mechanized Ultramarine army. So he's got a repulsor executioner there, a bunch of the relic Terminators and a Terminator captain. And I think from what he sent me the other day, he's working on his Sergeant Cronus in a Predator. It's just going to be like covered in las cannons because that's such a good option for him. But that fade from like the dark blue to the light blue that he's got through the airbrush is really good.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is nice.
Yeah,
it's a good shade of blue
for sure. It fits the Ultramarines really well, and just those plastic relic Terminators. Are they the Tartarus ones, or are they the Cataphractii?
I think if I remember the image correctly, I think Ben's got the Cataphractii ones. Yeah.
Because they're all just rolled into the same unit now, aren't they?
They're all they used to do different things, but now they are the same.
They've got those really cool like twin drum mag, which are really cool, and loads of cool like Power Fist and Lightning Claw and Power Sword options. So that's really cool as well. So good to see Ben's cracking through those. Which is really cool. Anybody else who has been working on stuff, feel free to tag us on Instagram or pop it on our Facebook. We'll periodically be providing updates and putting out more posts for people to engage with. I've not missed anyone, have I? Before I started rambling on.
No.
No. Well, not that you probably noticed, but literally just looking at our Instagram now, we've got another friend of the show, Noah Whitmore. I haven't heard from Noel in a while. It's nice to.
It's Death Guard.
He's tagged us in.
Yes. Remove that tag because it's unfair how nice that stuff is.
Yeah, I'm just literally.
I'm in a Facebook group with him and some of the people that we sort of used to play with, and his gaming group, and essentially at the moment it's just him bragging about how fucking nice his Death Guard units are.
Yeah. Fuck you, Noel, and your talent.
All he's doing is bragging out
Like,
how much time he's got.
What's really annoying is that it's like the Codex box art scheme that he's just painting to such a beautiful high standard. Yeah. It really pisses me off. Like, I love to.
You've been quite pissed off.
I mean, probably for the past
recently, haven't you,
29 years, I've been pissed off with stuff.
Been a lot of raid wanks to keep it under control.
All I ever get from you is
but that's because you're sending me pictures of your nicely painted things, and it annoys me. Whereas I've been here for the last couple of nights, just trying to put basic washes and highlights down because I've not painted anything in so long. That's not a night. So yeah, a lot of stuff annoys me, but yeah, that's cool that we're actually getting some engagements on Instagram. I'm
glad we're all in accordance and agreement in annoyance at Noel's talent.
Yes, yeah, well done, Noel. You bastard. His Slanesh Demon Army, which is what he finished before this Death Guard stuff, is outrageous. What's his tag? We'll give Noel a nice little shout out.
I think it's
just at Noel Whitmore.
I think it's like Noel_Whitmore, maybe.
Hold on. Give me a
Let's post his address as well. Let's post his address. Yeah, go and see Noel and tell him how much
it is literally Noel_Whitmore.
Peer through his window.
It is, yeah. All right, darling.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
We're
just not giving out someone's actual name on the internet. That's fine.
No. That is his Instagram.
That's fine.
It's an open account, so go nuts.
Feel free to send him dick pics.
And yeah,
beautiful stuff. Yeah, so that's really cool. So yeah, we're all kind of clear on where we're going next. Hopefully, fingers, toes, and everything crossed that once Sam and I get our nice new codexes early next year, and then people actually start getting vaccinated and stop going around licking each other, we'll
this week.
Hopefully, so early next year we'll actually have an opportunity to actually play some games again. So that's what I want. Like,
just pour a gallon of vaccine up my arsehole and let me out to play with my toys. That's what I want.
That's exactly it. Like, yeah, that's what I want. Obviously, lots of people are going through tough times at the moment, and we do really appreciate that. But we are here to get drunk and talk about how much we love toys, and I really miss playing with toys. It hurts.
It's all well and good looking at man dollies and building your man dollies, but until you get to roll some bones next to them, it's not the same.
Yeah, exactly. Until you can get to the point where you're playing against someone and you get them to take their toys that they spend their hard-earned time and money on off the board, manically laughing in their face, telling them how terrible they are. What is so that's...
I also don't agree on the word man dollies, Sam.
They're man dollies, and anyone that pretends they're not is lying to themselves.
Like, no, I'm really not lying to myself.
Man dollies.
They're not man.
I mean,
dollies.
they kind of are. Do you not hug your big models when you go to bed at night?
Yeah. Don't pretend you don't walk into that room, kiss your revenants, and then give your phantom a little fondle.
I did change his weapon today to make him look better. He's currently carrying both the distortion and the pulsar.
I pat all.
So he's got.
I pat all of my knights on the head
at the moment,
and then give my Archaon a little cuddle, and then
just more night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's just high speed chase going on behind you there.
Driving his fucking scooter up the road, twat.
Just one of the other great things about Portsmouth.
Sorry, I'll pass.
That's all right. I've mined Elm Grove.
Cool. So, anything else Moose Ride related? That's difficult to say. Before we sort of move on to the last bit of the episode.
I think that's us fully moosed up. I think.
Yeah, I don't think visually. Obviously, we've had some discussions with some bits and pieces with some friends of the show and so on that are looking to jump in on it, but have not obviously produced anything just yet. They're just talking list, where they want to go with it, which is quite nice. We've been having discussions with that, so hopefully that comes to light.
Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Jim does with his Necrons, particularly. He's very excited about them, and
for sure
won't stop sending messages about Necrons. And I can't wait to actually get to the point where I've actually played enough Necrons to actually help. Because I keep just romper stomping crits every time that I've played him under the new codex lately, and so that's not fun. Cool. So we're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to come back, round off the episode with some questions from the internet. Woo! Thanks for listening. Cool. Thanks for joining us again. Still Callum, Ricky, and Sam. So we've had quite a few people responding to our post asking for questions, and I think there's a few semi-serious ones and some comical ones. So should we just work through the list and see how rambly and distracted we get? And
Shall I work from the bottom up?
Do we do anything better?
We do like a detour, don't we?
Love it.
Here at War Down South. This is detour fucking central.
Crack on.
So I'll go from the bottom of the list.
Sure
Go for it.
Right, it is Mr. Mark Pearson gracing us with his presence again. Wants to know what the one colour you hate working with is the most, and how close. As your last, how close is? Oh, it's a 3-for-1 jobby. Worst colour you hate painting. Closest you've been last painting before the start of a tournament, and one game system you wish you'd gotten into.
Oh, okay. Colour I hate painting. Oh yeah, it's really difficult because I just avoid the colours that I don't want to paint.
So what ones do you avoid?
I've got two answers to that. Clean white, no one likes painting that. It's a fucking ball ache.
Clean white.
Yeah. And the second is green, just because I have PTSD flashbacks to helping GW Portsmouth paint 200 odd Night Goblins for the Skull Pass release in one evening. There was just green paint and flock everywhere.
I don't like actually painting like actual black. Actually, like I prefer to work with like really dark greys and stuff. But yeah, actually painting painting black power armor, for example, is probably the reason why I haven't painted.
Black's a horrible color to physically
to make it look good,
to do properly,
and with that, because I detest edge highlighting. I hate it. It's the worst thing in the world.
Edge highlighting is for noobs.
So yeah, that black I don't like it. It's probably the reason why I've not painted my Deathwatch army.
Yeah, probably.
How close I've been to painting before a tournament. I feel
on the train platforms on the way there. In the hotel room on the morning. I mean, the list is long in this group.
Even sooner than that. So once I did undercoat some models on a train platform on the way to a tournament. That was quite good. The train guard
raised a couple of eyebrows, didn't it?
Yeah, literally jumping off of a train with like a cardboard sheet and I think it was like some Tau battle suits or whatever, and just spraying them on a train platform.
Big cloud of white paint everywhere.
Jumping back on. I've painted stuff. I've touched up details and stuff and finished bits and pieces like in the hotel the night before and the morning before. But at the first Warhammer 40k GT I went to, I took what were known as Dark Eldar at the time.
And Gary Morley special.
And I had a couple of units of Grotesques. because that's back when they were like the gippy little, what you would probably refer to as racks now.
And is this the times when nothing that was below strength 7 could hurt them?
Yeah, exactly. You had to at least be over double their
times.
Toughness to wound
That's
them,
it.
and it was just after Space Marines got 4-shot rending assault cannons, and it was in the edition where if you were shooting at something that wasn't the closest target, you had to take a leadership test, and if you failed, you had to shoot the closest thing. So the the grotesques sat in front of my 6 units of 10 Dark Elder Warriors with 2 Dark Lancers in each.
I did exactly the same thing, but I had Wraith Lords behind me.
Well, there you go. I was painting squad markings on my 3 units of grotesques whilst they were doing the safety briefing in Warhammer World.
Oh my!
So that was quite good.
That's pretty close.
Luckily, it's a long safety briefing.
Yeah, that was the and that was so that would have been 16 years ago in March, I think.
Yeah. I don't think I've had any close painting calls. Normally, because I will go out of my way to make the smallest army list possible to travel with.
And you enjoy
nearly
paint.
Always done. Yeah, that's true. I don't mind a bit of paint.
And game, I kind of wish I'd gotten into. See, it's quite difficult because most of the games I've always wanted to play, I've always played. Bits and pieces. Difficult. Like I kind of.
Same here. I've played pretty much everything.
Yeah, I mean, like non GW related. I wish there was still a War Machine scene in Portsmouth, and War Machine was still as it was when we were playing it like 10 years ago. Because
before season 3,
before the 3rd edition come up and sort of just ruined it. From my point of view. Because we had a couple of years of where that was pretty much all we were playing. It was a really good competitive game. There's cool models, but I don't have time for anything that's not GW anymore. Like I don't have.
I can go to a system I wish I'd gotten into sooner, and that's the Middle Earth stuff. I've always liked the miniatures, but I've never really got around to playing it until recently. I wish I'd got into that sooner.
The re-release for sort of Middle Earth a couple of years ago, I think, has brought so many people like back into the hobby, and to be like, oh, Middle Earth has all of these cool models, and also it's the Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm going to play it. So that's really cool. So yeah, that's sort of it for me. What about so you obviously you're happy that you dive back into Lord of the Rings? What are the close? Oh, you don't really leave it close. What about you, Ricky? What about your answers to these questions?
With regards to colours, I hate working with. Browns are something I hate.
Oh, I love a good brown.
Yeah, so for browns, for me, they never work as a colour in my head. Obviously everyone has one of those colours, don't they? And for me, browns just never work. They never look like what I want them to frigging well look
something
like.
That's not elder.
When I'm trying to paint. Well, I'm doing it even with my my custodians. They've got like leather van braces and stuff like that, or like
Strapping,
leg. And I'm trying to paint them in browns, and I'm going. This just looks like I've fucking thrown up on the thing. It just doesn't.
Have you tried not throwing up on
it? Yeah, that's probably a good place to start. Honest, just browns just can't work with them.
Racist.
I think, yeah, I can do the blacks, but no, yeah, browns for me. I feel like I've got most things down to a T. Personally, how I like the look of them anyway, but browns is not something I can work with.
And again, you don't really leave stuff late, do you? Because the chances are that you're probably not even playing in a tournament anymore. You're running it.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't play as many as you guys, but I think the closest was the last time we went to an AOS event up at Warhammer World. Do you remember we were sharing a room, Callum, and I'm sitting there painting?
Yes, yeah, you were painting saber tusks, weren't you? Yeah, of course. Yeah, because you just sprayed them grey and washed them. And like, oh, that would do.
that was pretty much it. I think I had like 4 left to do, so I just had to bash them out. And to be fair, my actual Warmfang riders, I was 4 behind, but they were base coated and highlighted, but the final details weren't done, so they could kind of just vanish into the rest of the army and no one would notice. That's actually the closest I've come, because that was the night before, which is something I've never done before.
No, nobody would have noticed in that tournament that your stuff was unfinished anyway, because our friend Chris's our friend Chris's Iron Jaws army almost ruined the aspect of the event for someone because
he got asked.
He got asked to finish painting his models because a podcast host that occasionally does commissions decided not to fully paint given to someone.
Well,
Sam,
in my defence, and I will say this again,
you weren't a podcast host at the time.
Being given them 2 weeks before the event was not enough time, and also when asked what standard they need to be at, I followed Chris to the letter, and his fuck it attitude cost him.
Yes, he was having to paint. I think like because their faces were like red or something because of the spray undercoat you'd used or something. So I think he had to paint like.
Oh yeah, it was his.
It was his brutes, wasn't it?
And, the brutes.
And then I'm pretty sure he was paint on the Saturday night. He was painting stuff for his rock lobbers as well because they were just like sprayed brown.
Oh well, he didn't even give me those.
No.
But yeah, fuck it. Just do the armor and the weapons. Came back and bit him in the arse.
Yeah. Nobody was paying attention to you, Ricky. So
don't worry about that.
Chris, the flak vest cook took the thing.
Regarding games, I mean, I never really got into Lord of the Rings too much. I mean, when it was introduced, I was working for GW at the time, so it was kind of like a no-brainer that you knew how to play it and you could introduce it and so on. Outside of work-related stuff, I never really got into it, but I love the Lord of the Rings stuff. I've got like Tolkien encyclopedias and stuff like that, and when I was at college, I did loads and loads of stuff on Tolkien and the Middle Earth history. So for sure, that's something I wish I got into, and I still have bits and pieces, but I just 40k is so much on my spectrum. I just don't really have much time for it. It's really disappointing, really. It's the same with a lot of systems, to be fair. There's a lot of games that I used to play and I currently could say I still play.
Yes.
But
I mean,
I don't actually.
Yeah, I would like to play so much more AOS, but just having the like.
Yeah. Even Underworld.
Yeah, we got real hard for that.
I haven't touched that in ages.
Finding the time to do it's the problem in between all the 40k stuff.
Yeah.
I think 40k just floods our personal market so much, doesn't it?
I mean, I love 40k. If I had to give up all of the other games, then I would. But it does. It does make me sad when I'm looking over at my Archaon at the moment, and that for a good couple of years was the biggest, most impressive model GW did, and he's just sort of sat there collecting dust because I can't even remember the last time I played with AOS, let alone that.
It's
army.
The same with my Beast Claws. Like, they're one of my proudest armies, and I love them to pieces. And just don't play the game enough to somehow warrant spending a bit more time on them. And
yeah, I mean, actually, now that I've been like peering around my room at all of my abandoned projects, I would probably say something that I haven't given enough time to, that I would want, that like if I could like have a free chunk of time, it would be Titanicus, I think, because I've got so much of it.
Yeah,
and the games that I've played with it are absolutely amazing, and we've got such a good local community for it. But again, I just don't have the time with 40k. So yeah, Titanicus maybe would be on that list. I mean, I've not played a game of Aeronautica yet, actually, and now I'm looking at that big pile of stuff that I've got as well.
Yeah, that's literally above my head as well. Like, all my Aeronautica stuff is laid out. Oh, see, look
what good
what
capitalists we are.
Oh, Mark, what have you opened up?
Let's move on. Next question from Mr. Ben Counter. Oh my God, it's famous. It's Ben Counter. He says, which character needs a model or a new model, apart from Doom Rider, of course? That's a given. So I put some thought into this earlier in the day while I was having a poo.
Oh, no.
And I think,
A lot of thought then.
A character that has been missing for some time is the man or orc that introduced the hair squig to 40k canon, and that is Zodrod Wartsnagger. Just needs an update. I'll just have him back. Doesn't need to be in the game. I just want the guy that brought the hair squig to 40k back.
Oh, that is
done.
That is cool. I would certainly say it's got to be Vect. He's Vect. Like he
needs a more impressive bard.
He's one of the most outstanding characters in the 40k universe. Whether you're a Drukhari Dark Elder fan at all, any game with
Drukhari currently played, Azrael Vect, who currently doesn't have any rules, has more impact on those games than any other character in any other game because of the Agents of Vect stratagem.
You know what? Yeah.
So,
do you know what makes me laugh so much is that literally the Silent King.
He's big shiny robot Vect. Like I really want to put Vect on a Tantalus.
I don't know about you guys. I've never seen the Silent King and Vect in the same place at the same time. Just that.
It's true that.
I would definitely say it's got to be Vect. Like. Probably needs a modern update. Probably not the big titty slave girls on his.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's probably a note that GW are probably going to try and swerve.
But
before the no big tits in my hobby thing comes out again,
I would. I would probably say the chances are of them releasing a big character like that for this codex is probably quite low, considering that we're assuming that they're redoing Lilith because that's the model that we've seen.
And she's got the most limelight at the moment, hasn't she? With the old Inari.
Yeah, she was kicking the shit out of Yvraine when Yvraine decided to summon the Avatar.
Exactly.
It could happen. It could happen, and we'll know it happens because we will hear a sonic boom level squee from old Southsea.
Yeah, it's got to be Vect. Like I can remember, like he had rules in the 5th edition book, as did so many other cool Drukhari characters. And then when 6th edition rolled around, they just all got culled, and we're left with, like, at that point, the old shitty Drazar model, which was still alive until like last year. Urian and Lilith. It's just sort of like there's more Ultramarine characters than there are like across the entire Drukhari.
Yeah.
So I would say Vect. Anybody else?
Azerman.
You just want a new model.
Oh, a new model.
I could go to town on saying that the Elder range needs about 8 new character models.
This is new. An Elder player whinging on the internet.
Yeah. You got 2 new models last year.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I just feel that Azerman needs something.
He's one of the last remaining roadkill sculpts, isn't he? He's so flat.
Yeah.
They're all quite flat. They're quite small and less. They're just quite static. But I feel he should be next for the Eldari.
Well, maybe
Eldari,
I would say like out of like it'd be cool to see them redone, but the Avatar really needs a big, impressive model because it's outdone.
Yeah, I feel they're holding on to the Forge.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Forge model's nice, but it's not.
They shouldn't be.
It's like the Forge model doesn't really represent what the Avatar does in the Codex. That's the problem because the Forge one's massive.
Don't even get me started on what they represent.
But like, whereas the Avatar, like the Avatar of Iliad, or whatever you want to bloody call it, you need.
Yeah,
it's a big, impressive model. There's loads of stuff going on around the base and stuff. Whereas,
she's half the size of him though.
Whereas the Avatar's just like,
anyway.
here's my tiger claw and sword pose. Rawr. Like, rawr. And my 40 mil base. So,
I just feel that Azaman is such a mainstay in the Eldar race that he really deserves something quite substantial. And it'll be really. I do feel though that when they remake him, like they did James R, they're just gonna basically make a shiny version of him. I don't feel they're actually gonna really introduce
I guess
anything
they don't really
new
need
to
to,
him.
because that's not really the point of the Phoenix Lords, is it? They're the
No.
same. They're the same thing.
No,
over.
I guess not.
Like putting him in a nice dynamic pose, making him bigger. Like that's essentially what you want. And then introduced more into the story, because obviously, what's her face? Jane Zar plays quite a big part in the whole story.
Inari's story.
So that could be cool. Like him showing up and like taking charge and just being like, I'm going to pull all of these craft worlds together because I'm Azaman. That could be quite cool.
That's it. He's the ultimate boss of the Eldar race, effectively. Be nice to see.
Yeah.
Nice to see something shiny.
And obviously,
personally.
Doom Rider does need a new model.
Does it though?
I mean,
there's
a lot of models.
Right, what's next?
Right, next. Jim McLennan, top 3 characters from 40k novels.
Azaman.
Yeah, Gideon Ravener. I can't think of who else. The 100-titted demon from Inquisition War.
Oh my god!
Come on, brain, quick! Oh, John Grammaticus, obviously. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I would say definitely John Grammaticus, because he's apathy in space. I love him. Guardsman Hawk from many Graham McNeil novels, and probably Justicar Alaric from the Grey Knight series. He's very cool for me. Ricky?
I am a little different to you guys. I've not been into the old Black Library novels as long. So recently got my Audible subscription and started listening to audiobooks. And rather being Eldar based, check me out. I've gone the way of Custodes, and I've been listening to the old.
So the 3 main characters from that
book. I wouldn't go the 3 main characters, but I really like Alea. I think she's wicked. You don't get as much focus on her as much as you do the Custodes, but every time you get the focus on her, she's this little angry, super little angry Sister of Silence who fucking can't stand the Custodes. Everything about them, she just literally cheeses her off. Their politeness, their flamboyance of the way they do things. They never get angry. They just literally deal with things the way they deal with things. It's literally like, I think where I am in the books at the moment is they're getting pummeled left, right, and center by like a Cornate demon host at the Golden Gates on Terra, and the 10,000 are launched out, and she's there with Valerian, and they're fighting left, right, and center. And he's super calm. He's smashing the shit out of these bloodletters, this, that, and the other, and they down a bloodthirster, and he doesn't complain, doesn't care too much, just deals with what the situation is. And she's this super angry little girl, absolutely smashing the shit out of these bloodletters. She's nowhere near as strong as they are, and it's just pissing her off. And she's just so annoyed with absolutely everything. I just think it's brilliant. So it's not the Custodian characters that are doing it for me. It's her, where she's just so fucked off with them. I just think it's brilliant. She's ace. For for me, that's one character that I've fallen in love with her because she's got proper Napoleon syndrome compared to the Custodes.
Cool.
Okay, skipping forward, more of a request than a question. Lee, our resident GW manager, would like to hear a Jeopardy 40k episode from us. We can probably put that together, to be honest. I was thinking about that while I was pairing as well.
I think we should
do that. Yeah.
Or at least some kind of quiz. That would be quite fun. I mean, Jeopardy is quite complex.
I mean, I can do it.
Isn't that?
You've got to answer in the form of a question, but then
the question.
There's multiple categories. Yeah. I can probably whip together a round.
In fairness, I don't think my mind can do that.
I reckon we could get there.
Okay, Lee. Let's work that out for maybe the next time round before Christmas.
2 weeks, maybe.
Maybe. 2 weeks.
It might be.
Is that too short?
We're going to take some planning. It's the seed is planted, Lee.
Or do we get our listeners to create the questions for us and we'll answer them, and we'll get them to email them to us the day before?
Given the apathy of wargamers, maybe not.
Maybe not. No.
I'm going to skip up the list a little to our lovely friend that we don't see too often, Mr. Pete Jarman. Woo! Shout out.
Shout out to the J-Man.
He wants to know which discontinued GW game would you bring back if you could, and why is it the original Warhammer Quest?
It is the
because it was brilliant.
It is the original Warhammer Quest. Like that's the answer. Like yes, it is.
No.
Well, what's the answer then? Because that's whatever you're going to say is going to be fine.
That's your
answer. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I miss Battlefleet Gothic.
Yeah.
That's a good choice, but as we said, you are wrong.
On a side note, Pete is currently working on a new Warhammer, a new old Warhammer Quest, where he's building all of the things out of new models.
He's updating all the miniatures for the monster list, isn't he?
Which is fabulous. So I can't wait to.
I also saw.
Yeah, I think Pete has been. I'm going to say it is because we talk about Space Marines a lot, and I know that Pete listens to the show and therefore has bought Space Marines. So I'm going to claim that
he's an honorary moose.
Oh dear, we should have talked about other stuff.
There was a second prong to Pete's question, which is if you were the Big E and you got a second stab at orchestrating the Horus Heresy, which loyalist legion would you prefer to have turned, and which traitor legion would you have worked harder to save, and why?
Oh, okay. So in this instance,
I'm not sure the Big E really.
No,
well, you've not read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Wow, that's contentious. Oh, because when I read it, okay. So the Big E is the Emperor, because I thought you might have meant Erebus, who obviously is behind it all.
Well, I'm assuming he meant the Emperor, but it could also be Erebus.
I would so if I was Big E, Big Emperor, I would have probably said that.
I would have probably been nicer to Magnus.
Yeah, because he could have literally just like if Magnus hadn't done his thing, then the Emperor would have focused on the defense of Terra instead of being able to palm it off onto Rogel Dawn. You know, if you're going to palm it off to anybody, Rogel Dawn's a good second. But Magnus destroying all of the psychic wards around Terra accidentally to try and warn the Emperor was probably a bad move. You'd want him on your side because he could just destroy the fleet in space. But,
which loyalist legion would you prefer to have turned?
I don't really care about the Raven Guard. They don't know anything cool. They can go about being sneaky. Like all of the others.
Would have been cool if the Blood Angels had turned like they had planned.
Yeah,
they tried to corrupt Sanguinius. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I mean, the Dark Angels are a really odd one because if you were going to like if you ideally wanted to corrupt any of the loyalist Primarchs, like the best one would be Guilliman, because he has the biggest
What the
legion
Master
out of
Stratagem.
everyone, and he's the best at coordinating everything. Like they could have plugged him into a big old demon engine or big old calculator, and like just had him run the war, from like an armchair spaceship. But yeah, I can see the merits in going after like Sanguinius for sure, because he could like just punch the walls of terror down or whatever. But
Yeah, boy.
but yeah, I don't feel like the Raven Guard do anything. They show up at Istvan and get the shit kicked out of them, and then
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Aren't even like don't even have a personally. They don't have a cool sub storyline like the Vulcan plot and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
we do have one final question from Mr. Darren Watson.
Darren.
And he wants to know, who is your favourite staff member at GW growing up, and why was it me? Terribly sorry, Dazza, but might have to disappoint you. I think it might be Jim. For his air humping and blatant ogling of people's mums. And burying that Mars bar in Moria.
I don't know. There's another Jim.
I feel so lucky attending GW Portsmouth like 15, 16 years ago, because I've got to meet a great raft of friends from it, but they were all fucking mental. Like Darren, Ricky, Rob, Jim Brooks with his amazing scenery that he would build and just getting exasperated with everybody else. Like
people hiding Mars bars in his Mines of Moria board.
Pete Jarman, who now lives up north, like just being like teaching me how to play and like paint armies and stuff. And then even...
I have to say a good highlight was the day that we were all playing real life Ogre Ball charges in GW Portsmouth with Dazza.
Yes, yeah, and just running.
That was a good afternoon.
Yeah, and the old Box Olympics games were great.
Or walking in and finding him and Jim Brooks playing pew pews with Titan arms.
Yeah, just firing Urukai at Helm's Deep that Jim Brooks built. That was always good fun.
I like the fact that Mr. Lee Hiscock, so the current
I was going to say from
when did we grow up?
From an organizational point of view, Mr. Lee Hiscock is incredible. He does so much for the local community and Haven and all of the other clubs, and is a generally nice guy. He shows up to tournaments as well. That's always good fun. That's always good in my books. Unfortunately, my favourite Games Workshop staff member has to be my one true love and super best friend, and that's Mr. Peter Spratt. Because
I always forgot Pete worked there. Yeah. I just assumed he was hanging out.
Pete ran that store.
He had the blue shirt on. Yeah.
And yeah, but generally a great roster of guys. Some notable poor exceptions from some people who had worked and run that store. But I feel really lucky because it's Portsmouth's got such a weird Warhammer community anyway. But having so many friends and stuff that were met either from playing through that store or people who worked there, great. It's definitely in good hands with Lee and James and all of the guys who were there.
Yeah, kudos to the good. Yeah, that's it. Kudos to the current team.
It's a different era, a more professional era. I might venture.
I would say it's definitely professional, but like it's. I haven't felt as welcome there as I had until like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh yeah. It's a great thing because there's no danger of you walking in there and then leaving with an army case filled with pubic hair. It's
good grief. Yeah.
Lee, next time.
That's it. We're out of questions.
Okay, brilliant. So that's probably a good place to wrap it up. So just a quick thank you. Obviously, this is our 10th episode. I wasn't quite sure it was going to last this long. We've been doing it for almost half a year now, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Whether or not how many people actually listen to this, I know some guys in the local community and a few other of our friends up and down the country do. So it's just a really good opportunity for us to sort of blow some steam, talk about toys, have a couple of drinks, and stay in touch with each other. But if you do have any improvements, questions, content that you want us to share, get in touch. Whether or not that's directly through our actual podcast channels or on like Facebook, Twitter, etc. And we'd really love to hear from you and what you guys want to hear. Anything from you, chaps?
No.
Or have I just said that in such a beautiful, poetic way that you can't fathom coming anywhere close to what I've done?
No, you are such a beautiful wordsmith. Anything I said would only detract from the beauty of your poetry.
I think this all came. No, I agree with you entirely. I just think this came from our long drives up north and stuff like that, didn't it? Where we used to just natter about 40k or toys and stuff like that. And we always used to say, "Oh, do you know what? We should really do something like this." And during this whole lockdown period, we thought, fuck it, why the hell not? We'll give it a go. And I think it's really great that we've got a group of listeners that listen to us every couple of weeks. And,
for sure.
And it's really humbling that you guys really want to listen to us get drunk and talk about toys. Maybe there's something,
or at least start talking about toys and then
start
just
talking about toys.
elsewhere.
Yeah, it's really great. Do we really know where this is going? Do we really know where we want it to end up? We don't know. We just kind of go with the flow, and it's really cool. I really enjoy doing it, and it's great that you guys listen.
Yeah, we'll definitely continue to not have a plan. And just sort of.
I think winging it is the way forward.
For sure. Fabulous. So you can catch us on all of our normal social medias. You can catch us on Facebook, War Down South Podcast. We're on Twitter, at War Down South Podcast. And we are also on Instagram, War Down South Podcast. Again, from me, thank you very much for listening. And we'll catch you again in a couple of weeks for our special Christmas episode, which we're now going to have some special Christmas content for because I've called it a special episode.
Is it just going to be the episode closest to Christmas?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be getting twatted on like mulled cider and eggnog. So wearing a Christmas hat. There we go. That's festive.
Great. No one will see us.
Right. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Peace out, honkies.
Laters.
Laters.